Hey, Alafia, Aho, Ase, Namaste, and thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves. And blessings to you all. Get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow for us, in respect to Saint Mercedes, who is synchronized with Orisha Obatala. Tomorrow we wear all white and we ask for blessings. Tomorrow's a beautiful time to ask for peace, to ask for unity. Now, let's stick to the topic. Let's talk about Ebo. What is an Ebo? Some people say Ebo, some people say Ebo, and we will get into it. When we are doing a reading with someone who is crowned in Orisha faith, we're going to go deeper, as on TikTok I agreed to make a longer version to this video. When we are doing a reading with someone who is a Babalao, an Oluo from Ifa, or an Obariate, or from a Santera as myself, or a Santero, someone who's crowned in Orisha faith, most of the time in these readings we mark Ebo. What is the purpose of Ebo? Let's go a little bit deeper and then we'll go into other things. The purpose of Ebo is to open up blessings for you, the person who came in to receive the consultation of that reading and to hear what is being said, the advices that are being told to you. It's not about going to this one and that one within the month and then getting yourself confused. When there is a prescription and a remedy for your problem, you need to follow through with that prescription. So why is it most of the times when someone calls me or they text me or they email me and they tell me a problem, they say, well, can I please, what do you think about me taking a white bath? I mean, well, just like when we go to the doctor, please listen. Not everybody who has a headache has the same diagnosis. What did I say? Not everybody who has a headache has the same diagnosis. So what do we mean by that? What I am saying to you is every person's situation is different. So the blessings of being in Olorisha, in being crowned in Orisha faith, or being a high spiritualist, but I'm sticking to this with Ebo, is that we don't just say, oh, this sounds good, let's do it. No, if the client or the godchild does not have their Orishas in their house and they're not already crowned, or they have me as a godparent or whoever your godparent is, you can bring that sacrifice to your godparent's house, or say you don't really trust that person to be a godparent yet, but the person is crowned respectfully and they gave you a reading. You bring the sacrifice in doing Ebo to their house. Now, what does that mean? There are different types of Ebo sacrifice. The minute I say that, people are thinking, oh, these Santeros, they want to sacrifice birds or animals or whatever. It's not all sacrifice, guys. Sacrifice also marks the fact that maybe you have to bring a basket of fruit to appease Yemaya and flowers, and that's the only Ebo that she's asking you for. Or say, for example, you have Yemaya in your house and you have to give her that sacrifice. You go to someone else who is crowned, or you read yourself, but Yemaya calls and marks that Ebo. Because what we do is when we're doing readings, even through Ifa, when Ifa does your reading, or when Santero does your reading, that reading that will mark that Ebo will tell them which Orisha is standing up for you. Or it may not even be an Orisha. It could be an Eggun. It could be an ancestor. That all depends, okay? Why is this important before we go deep? Because I love it. I could stay as long as I want on this platform with all blessing. Why is it that we mark Ebo? Well, Ebo, number one, is a prescription. Number two, when, say, for example, you have your Orishas in your house, and Chango, for example, is in need of an adimu, is in need of an offering. He may just ask you for something as simple as two coconuts and 2 candles, or something as simple as what we call amala. He may just want cornmeal porridge with his okra in it. Okay, some people say kimbobo with his okra. Some people say okra. Now, if you don't have Santo made, in other words, if you're not crowned in Orisha faith, respectfully, when you're doing these offerings and you're just giving it to whoever or whatever, or you're doing religious things for people, well, which Orisha is taking care of it? Like, I would never do a spiritual, like a spell, or what we call spell and witchcraft, or do an offering or do something without giving it to the Orisha, without giving it to my spirit. That particular energy works on your offerings. So let's go into Ebo. Some people say Ebo because I can relate to you. I was, I'm not really from Yoruba. I'm not from Nigeria. So if our pronunciation is off, we totally understand. We're all learning. So the correct term is Ebo, okay? But I'm saying EBO so that when you hear it and it's marked, you understand it. Now, when you go and you get your reading, you have at least 21 days to try to get this Ebo done. Why? This is a prescription for your own sacrifice, for your own blessings. Why does it mean so much when you have a reading? We'll go into spiritual after, but let's talk about this. When you have a reading and say Obatala, he stands up, and by the way, once again, blessing for his day tomorrow, and they say you have to do this Ebo. Why? Because when that person is doing prayers on top of your Ori, for those of you who don't know what that is, just giving an example, your crown chakra, your seated consciousness, when that person is doing these prayers on top of you, they're letting Olofi Olorun Olodumare, they're letting God know that you are coming in for help. Now, even if you're reading, which everyone looks for, those of you who are used to getting readings through Ifa or through us, through Orisha, when you know that those readings, they come out Ire, everyone wants to hear good news, right? You still may have to do, Ibo. Even if they say, okay, well, Ochun or Yemaya or Chango, they want 2 candles, you still have to do it. Something you have to give is say, okay, give them a little gift. Now, say like you don't have these Orishas in your house, once again, go to your godparents' house and bring that offering respectfully. Now, those of you who are newly crowned, when Ebo is marked, just follow through with it. Now, what becomes scary for some? When there is an emergency and Ebo is marked, it is important that you follow through with whatever advice was given to you. Because if you don't, things go up and worse and worse. It's like piling junk on top of junk. Try your best, especially if it is reasonable. And the crowned person, they like to say these days, priest or priestess, or Olorisha, or Babalao, or Luo, or Obariate. When this person marks this, they will be as reasonable, because we walk with Iwa Pele. They will be as reasonable as possible to get you through so that you can have that Ebo done. That is our righteousness and our sworn of faith to Olofi Olodumare Olorun and to our Orisha, is to help as many people as possible the right way and not overcharging, to be reasonable. We're not here to live off of our faith. We have to receive derecho. We have to receive payment because we worked hard for our crown. But the right way to do it is to make sure, because we compensate our Orisha, but we must work with you. Now, in understanding that, there are some Ebos, those of you who are just starting. I'm not here to talk to elders. Bendición and Olafia to all elders. Those of you who are new to this and you're not an elder, say you just got out, you're crowned 2 years, and you mark Ebo correctly, righteously, with Iwa Pele, what did I say? Good faith and good heart and good moral character for this person. you must start with the lowest, like the smallest ebo possible until it gets bigger. So say like someone is very sick. Well, they may just have an ebo that is marked through a batala to take a white bath, and you can prepare that white bath, okay? And they give you an offering what they see fit or what they can or whatever you mark that is fair, okay? They may have an ebo where they have to clean with fruit. We don't just go, oh, ebo? Hey, so bring 3 roosters and 4 chickens. And no, come on. We are here to make sure to help those to live a long and peaceful life so that we live it. Because if we are doing things we're not supposed to do, then we catch karma, right? I'm not here to change subjects, but I'm just teaching for those of you who had just started. I have some people who just came out of Yabarahe that asked this advice. That's why I'm giving it. Now, so we ask sometimes for the smallest and say, okay, maybe they can bring Agayu a pineapple, you know, and present that to him with 2 candles. And if they mark it, it says no. Everything that we do, we ask. For example, I had a very intelligent, beautiful young lady. I was so impressed that came to me today for a reading. And she turned to her relative. I'm not going to say. And she said, you know, that's right, but she has to ask. And she's right. I have to ask, which I did. Now, normally we'll get into that another time, but let's talk about the different ebos. Now, once again, if you are not crowned, and this pertains to Orisha faith, if you are not crowned, then rightfully so, you need to respect your Ile, and you need to ask your godparent, and you need to consult with them. If you are crowned, you know that you're supposed to consult with your Orisha. If you have not received Ebo Meta, then you know that you have to wait till you do, and you once again redirect you to your godparent. Now, in going back with that, Ebo through Orisha, let's talk about that remedy, okay? I wrote them down because sometimes I tend to talk a lot and will forget. So, Ebo is the offering to Orisha. You understand that part, correct? Now, there's Ebo Kere, all right, which is a set of spiritual cleansings. So, for example, there have been people that I've told them, listen, your spiritual frame, it may be off, with all due respect. It's not correct. It comes, we also, you know, not only we work with Orisha, we work with our spirit, and they may need a spiritual bath. And we prepare that spiritual bath. Ebo Kere is related to a spiritual bath with certain types of plants that is rectified and consulted correctly through Orisha, or maybe a spiritual bath that has to do with spiritual plants that are prayed and done and prepared. Okay, so in blessings to Ebo Kere, because we can prepare these baths, or if you know that you have a very spiritual client and that is very independent, you can give them the remedy and the list that they need to make in their baths. If they're not comfortable, then we need to help them out to prepare those baths, and blessings to you. The next Ebo is Ebo Misi. Now this Ebo is, again, the spiritual bath with white plants, white flowers, goat's milk, honey, and so forth. That's another Ebo, because you have Ebo Kere, which is the spiritual cleansings. It could be, with all due respect, if you're squeamish, change the channel. If you debate, goodbye. Okay, it could be that we clean the client with a pigeon and we set that pigeon free spiritually at a church or outside their door. So you have Ebo Kere, which is the spiritual cleansing. It could be with bath and herbs, and then it could also be with different kinds of plants, however your spirit works. Now, Ebo Misi is when we prepare umiro, and we make that for you to take that bath. Now, Ebo Ori, this was where it gets complicated, okay? Because whoever performs Ebo Ori should be, and has to be, someone who is crowned in Orisha faith. So that means Ebo Ori. What is the Ori? Ori is our soul destiny. This is how some spiritualists say, I'm saying this so you can understand, how do you say, your crown chakra, okay? Your ori lives on your head, and this is the seat of your destiny and your consciousness. So some ebo ori could be a simple rogation, okay, that we prepare as olorishas, as, you know, priest and priestess that are crowned, and we put this and we bless you in front of our orisha, and we give you the remedy and the blessings in throwing obi, okay, to your ori. However, ebo ori can also relate to a certain, maybe it could be of a sacrifice of a bird that goes with that orisha, okay, respectfully. So this is why we are crowned and we are taught iwa pele, because we don't just do inhumane bird sacrifices and so forth. Not only are bird sacrifices in Orisha faith, or in Judaism and Jewish faith, or in Hindu faith, and so forth. In Islam, they do this called halal. In the Jewish faith, it is kosher. And in Hindu faith, it has its own name. So those of us who are crowned have license to feed your head, ebo ori. And that is done in front of our orisha, or in front of yours if you are already crowned. But it's done humanely, and it's done in feeding your ori, because maybe you need that strength, okay? So there are different, so say for example, I'll give you an example for those who are just starting out and who are just crowned. Say you're a child of Chango or Chun, and you have to take a Cordonese, and you have to feed your ori. There's different ways. Or you may need a simple rogation. It could be based on how we normally do rogation for Batala, or it could be a rogation that is of fruits. Now let's move from that for in a moment here. So eboses, as I already have here so that you know, it could be different ones. Hey, you have to, you know, clean yourself and give candy to Eggun, all right? Or it could be you have to take fruit and go to the ocean. Take fruit. These different ebos I have marked, and they have been successful. It also depends on your client or your godchild's faith in terms of it working. So in blessings to Victor Lopez, my padrino of Eggun, my padrino of Olokun, and of Agayu, and blessings to Talabi. And tomorrow's the day for Batala, Iba Iba into New. He used to say, when he taught me, he said, listen, he goes, everything is built on faith. It will work more once you believe. So let's continue more. Let's continue. Alafia, aho, asay, namaste, and blessings. Let's continue. Now, when you're doing ebo, what I was talking about on TikTok is what kind of, I must say, one of my pet peeves. Why are people always feeding and putting food on top of the spirit? Dishes, meals, keep feeding the Orisha this, feeding that. When they have Orisha, I'm giving the oranges to Ochun today. I'm giving it. Listen, yo, slow down. Maybe Ochun don't want your food today. Let the ebo be marked. So say in blessings to Palo, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. I'm going to give you an idea. When you go to a tata or you go to a yai and you're doing a reading with Eggun, that there is a form of ebo. Maybe you have to give that Eggun some rum. Maybe you have to give them a rooster. These are different cleanings that are recommended in the prescription that's coming from that tata that needs to be respected. Or you could be in a misa blanca. That's how we say it. We say prayer mass, okay? And say we're all sitting in a prayer mass, and I tell someone I'm sitting at the table, because I sit at the table in my house. My Egguns and my spirits sit at the table, okay? With that experience, I may point somebody out and say, listen, you need to clean yourself with white flowers. You need to do 5 Hail Marys and 7 Our Fathers. That's another form in using the term ebo, so that you can understand what that means. Why is it when people are constantly giving and giving this and feeding, they're not alive like us? Like, they don't have this. We need food. We need to eat food, right? But not all, like, why some people are treating spirits and orishas and Eggun like they're human. They don't run on the fuel of food. They run on what is marked for you to do. Now, it's okay if you say, okay, it's my birthday and I want to give, say your mom passed away, my mom a piece of cake to share with me, and I'm giving, okay, because they pick up the spiritual energy of that cake and that food. But when you are overfeeding your spirits, you are keeping them in a low vibration mode. Do what you want. I'm just giving you the example because I've already taught this to many people, and sometimes they still send me information on what they're feeding. They don't live on fuel, guys. They live on the spiritual harmony of light and prayers, lighting your candle, praying to Olodumare. So why does Ebo work? Why does it work if you follow through? If the sacrifice is made, whether it be through candy, flowers, food, whatever, and it is marked, because when that person is praying, they're waking up Orisha, they're praying to the heavens over you. Now, say you get a spiritual reading. If I'm doing a spiritual reading, I never let my client or my godchildren or whoever comes to me open, like, oh, this is going to happen to you and there's nothing we can do. No, there are things you can do. There's always a remedy. So that's a form of Ebo, but it's not using the term of Ebo. It's a spiritual remedy. There's a difference between Orisha, spirits, Eggun, law, and so forth. So when you are reading people's cards, if you see a tragedy truly coming, and I'm hoping those of you who are reading cards really read the cards with all due respect, not just by, oh, this card means this, that. No, because you have spirit that you're working with, that when your client or your godchild, your spiritual godchild come to you, well, you have to have a remedy if there's something that comes up that comes out negative. And that remedy should be left with a spirit or a saint. We cannot just make witchcraft or voodoo or something and be like, okay, I did the work for you. Well, who did you leave it to? Did you leave it to Caridad de Cobre? I mean, Anaisa? Did you leave it to... you have to leave that to someone. So going back to Ebo, let's talk about that. Ebo makes wonders. If you go to someone that you really trust and they do that reading and that person is crowned, they're not just going to go by just what they're reading through the catacombs, through the shells, or they're going to also, they walk with spirit, because in Santeria, what I love so much is many of us, which people don't understand, we have to go through a spiritual transformation. Spiritually, we go through that, and we go through different initiations. Some people get scratched, some people receive 21 divisions, some people go through Sanse, some people, they go through this, and then lastly, they go into Santeria and they get crowned, and then after that, nobody can touch their head. Once you get crowned, so for example, I'm crowned a Chosi, my head is marked, my head is done, my audio is done. I don't do anything else with my head except for, like I said, rogations and so forth, and I ask. So I hope this video, I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I need to tell you. So Ebo aligns us with our destiny. If you trust the person, whoever you go to, whether you're in California, Africa, India, if you trust this person to mark your Ebo, to mark what you need to give as a sacrifice to the Orisha and so forth, or if it's a spiritual reading, if you trust them, you need to stay with them. If it's reasonable and you know that with all faith, everything is done right, do your Ebo so you can move up. Now, please do not get confused with Ebo Meta, which is something that we do after we get crowned. And then we have to appease our Orishas and feed them again. And then El Egua speaks. It's according to your house. And they throw Obi and so forth. That is something, Ebo Meta is to wake your Orishas up and to change your life. So in understanding this, I pray that everyone, I know it's a long video, but I pray that you got it and you understand it. So what is Ebo? Ebo is the remedy and prescription that comes out of your reading of what you need to do. So once again, doesn't mean because you know that somebody has witchcraft that they have the same they have the same prescription, or, you know, that, oh, okay, just go to your spirit, take a white bath. No. Ebo is a design prescription for you that gives you a remedy of what you need to do to align your destiny with your Orisha. And blessings to all of you. Thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves. And please subscribe, share. If you want to comment, it's fine. Many of you have my phone number. And please, many people are asking, I want to comment, and I can't just give that away freely. In the description box, those who would like a reading, you can contact me through the information in the description box. Those of you who enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe to help the algorithm to keep going. And remember, tomorrow, I believe, is the 24th. Tomorrow is for Saint Mercedes. High recommendation of wearing all white, praying for unity, and also asking for blessings. Some people have told me that they're going to church. Some people have, because that's Saint Mercedes. Some people, they strictly just want to stay home and pray for unity with Obatala. And those of you who have Orisha in your house, do know that you can give Obatala white milk and so forth, and stuff like that. So, in blessings to all of you, I pray that you have a beautiful and amazing day. Alafia, aho, I say namaste, and thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves.